Hi, this is Katie Kinsman, and this is a video tutorial to help you with the pattern that I made called Easy-Peasy dolls. I want to talk a little bit first about the types of felt that you can use, and then we'll get on to how we put the doll together. So I'm just going to move this over. Now, most of the time, most of us know about the felt that you can get at most craft stores. Usually it's this classic rainbow felt. This is like an eco-friendly one. It comes in a 9 by 12 inch square, and they're usually pretty cheap. Most of the time you can find them like 3 for $1 or 4 for $1. These are all made from acrylic and recycled. These are all like recycled bottles. These can't be used with an iron. If you try to use your iron on this, you're just going to have a huge mess. So know that you can use these. There's some problems with them. It's good if maybe you're working with kids with this because it's easy and they may go through a lot of it, but it stretches a lot, and you can see there's a lot of give right there. And then with some of the felts, you can see here on top of my green grid, some of them look a little patchy almost. So sometimes this isn't the best choice. Now, if you'd like to work with something that is a little better, a little higher quality, I get my felt in either a 20/80 blend or a 30/70 blend of wool to acrylic. This you can iron with your iron at home, no problem. And you can see there's a different quality to it. It's not as stretchy either way, and it feels nicer. It's a little heavier. It may be a little thinner, but it's a lot more durable. You can see there's some slight patchiness here, but it's a much better felt. Now, these are in 12 by 18 pieces, and I got these from joggles.com, and I'll have that information on my website. I order a lot from Joggles, and they have great prices and a lot of really good stuff. You can also buy from Joggles. You can buy felt by the yard as well. And they come in hundreds of different colors. That's one of the reasons I like their site so much. Okay, you've got your pattern, and you've printed it out from your PDF, and you can see I've got all the pieces on here that you're going to need. For this doll, you only have 2 main body pieces. Now, when you're cutting out the pattern, first of all, decide which doll you're going to do, because you can see each one of these I've labeled the bunny ears or the kitty ears, the bear tail, the bear ear. So you'll need to make sure that you've got the correct pieces. So we're going to be making a bunny today. So you'll need to cut this out. Now, a word about your scissors that you're using. You're going to want to use just regular old scissors to cut paper, cut your pattern out with just regular old scissors. When it comes to actually pinning everything down and cutting it out of the felt, you're going to want to use regular sewing scissors, and they've got to be pretty sharp. Trying to cut felt, especially if you get a wool blend felt with dull scissors, is just a horrifying experience. You don't want to do it. So I also have another smaller set of a pair of sewing scissors that make it a little easier to get into little places and cut out little things. So once you've cut out your pattern, and like I said, we're going to be making our bunny today, make sure you've got all your pieces. And you can see on the pattern, I put places inside the pattern piece to show you where the arms will go, where the face will go, where the ears will go, and then where to leave open for stuffing. So I've got all of the bunny pieces right here: the eye, the pupil, the tooth, and the mouth. So now it's time to pin everything down to our felt. Now, some of these pieces are really, really small, so you want to make sure that you're not going to lose them. A lot of times I use Ziploc bags to keep all my little tiny pattern pieces in. Now, we're going to be using that wool felt again. You can see for the demonstration purposes here, I went ahead and cut the 18 by 12 inch piece of felt in half. So it's a 9 by 12 right now. And with one 9 by 12 piece of felt, you can make one doll. Now you're going to cut out 2 of the body pieces, 2 of the inner ears out of another color, and you're going to be cutting out the bunny ears and the bunny arms out of this piece right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be pinning some things down first and cutting out the piece here. So you want to make sure when you're pinning this down, for this I usually use 6 pins, and I start at the bottom with the feet and make sure that they're pinned down and they're not going to move anywhere. and then making sure that my pins are inside the pattern so I'm not going to accidentally cut on top of my pins as I go around. Move those over there so I don't lose them. So it's basically 2 kind of on the legs and then 2 on the abdomen. Okay, this is what I start out with. And then to make sure, because kind of holding up a piece like this gets a little hard to cut out, usually what I'll do first is I'll lay it flat and then cut kind of close around the doll like this. So there's going to be some waste there. And then I can more easily hold the doll up in the air and cut out the body. Okay. And again, you really want sharp scissors. I've had some students of mine try to cut felt with just regular scissors, and it's just not a good experience. Now you can see here, I'm starting to get into kind of some little nooks and crannies. I always put my thumb close so I can hold the pattern down and get around it very easily so it's neat and tidy. Now, a space like this, having a pair of these smaller scissors comes in really, really handy. And that way I can go around them very, very easy. Especially when you're doing these tight little curves. And you can see I just, come here you. Okay, there you go. So you can see I've cut out 1 so far. Now, I usually keep a magnet close so I can put my pins on it so I don't have to keep stabbing things into my pin cushion. Now, you can, if you want, go ahead and take the next pattern piece and lay it down and cut it out again. I'm going to show you a method that I use all the time because sometimes I don't want to cut around the pattern again. What I'll do, I want to make sure that these pieces match. And if I cut it around the pattern again, it might not match. So what I do is simply take the piece that I just cut out, lay it down, and use the same 6 pins to pin it down and cut around. Okay, and again, I could do the same thing, or it's a little harder to see here with the yellow on yellow, but I'm going ahead and cutting really close. And then if I need to, I can stop and do the same thing. Take your thumb and hold the felt close to what you're cutting out. Felt's a really easy fabric to work with, but you just kind of need to know how much it's going to slip around. Sometimes it'll just slip out of place, but if my thumb's on top of that, it's not going to slip out of place, and when you cut them out, the pieces will be the same. Now, the way that I'm holding the scissors is I'm trying to hold them so they're straight, and I'm not cutting with my scissors at an angle this way or that way and undercutting the felt underneath it, because that can make the piece that you're cutting out a little bit smaller, which can be a little annoying when you're trying to sew it together. I guess I can stop using those now. And if you notice any little imperfections, you can always do a little bit of a trim work. You can see here I've got a little bit of a point right there. I can just go in here and go, just trim it up a little bit. Okay. Now you can see that uses up most of the 9x12 piece of fabric or felt that you're going to be using. So what you're going to be doing next is you're going to be cutting out the arms and the ears. Now, since I'm done with these pins, I'm going to pull them out. And I'm just going to leave 1 pin there just to make sure the pieces are together. And then I can set that off to the side. These pieces I'll still be able to use, and this is what we have left over that we can still use. Now, a word about the ears. For the bunnies, I say cut 4 for the ears. If you like, you can only cut 1 piece of the yellow felt and 1 piece for the inner ear and glue them together and just use 1. I like it to look a little bit more finished, so I usually cut out 4 of them. Now, because I don't like wasting anything, you can see Pieces like this will fit perfectly right here. And you only need one pin to hold these in place. And I tend to do the exact same thing. I'll cut really, really close. There's not a whole lot of curves on this except for that end. It's mostly straight lines. And then once I've cut out the first one, I simply take it and put it on the next one and cut it out. Okay. And I won't be able to use that. So, okay. And then just do it again. I like doing it this way because it seems like I get things cut out a lot quicker. Now you're also going to need your arms for this. Now the bunny is the one that looks a little strange when you cut everything out because the ears and the arm are the exact same size. So you can see here I just cut them out that way. I could probably move these over, just this one just a little bit. And you can see here I can get another one out of that. Okay, so for the bunny, you're going to need to cut out, you're going to end up having 4 of these pairs in the yellow along with this. So I'm going to put this stuff away.